Been 6 months since I made a video about the Arduino environmental monitor. I'm sorry about that. I haven't had a chance to do any marketing or any real work. I've actually had a newer version built for 3 months. I just haven't had a chance to actually make the video for it. But the last video you saw had version 1.02, and that's when I rearranged the board a little bit, made the capacitors for the charge pump a lot smaller. Well, now I've actually put it into a whole setup. It's in like a little card holder. I'll zoom into it in a second. But the biggest thing is, this is the first time I've ever gone away from like a Pro Mini board and actually put the chip directly on the PCB. So the ATmega 328 chip is no longer on a Pro Mini. It's integrated directly all on one board. And that was the biggest change on this. So let me put it on the desk here and we'll get a little closer and take a better look at it. Okay, so here's the unit itself. I am basically using as a carrier. Here's an unmodified one. These are basically used for 3x5 cardstock, usually for like little signs. And if I turn this one sideways, you see all I did to modify it was I cut off a little bit of the bottom. The screen is shoved in the middle of it, and the bend, I had to heat up the bend with the screen inside of it. This way it took the bend of the screen, and it's held in there just by friction itself. So I heated this up, cut that, and you have a perfectly good carrying case. So let me put that off to the side, turn it back up front here. And I got 2 holes drilled right here, which are holding on the circuit board. The battery is double-sided taped on the bottom, and everything comes out nice and clean. And the battery is actually a counterweight for it too, so it takes a lot to flip this thing over. So let's get in a little closer to the circuit board. Okay, now the board of course is upside down because it's the way it's mounted on here with the screen and the way I set it up. But I'm still using the 0402 capacitors for the charge pump. I spaced them out a little bit more. I changed out the real-time chip to this 8-pin version. It's not quite as accurate. I think instead of like 3 parts per million that the big 16-pin one was, this is 5 parts per million. Big deal. But it saves a lot of space. They're a little harder to find. These, believe it or not, are eBay China specials. They may be knockoffs, but I haven't had a problem with them so far. And over here you have all of your charge regulator and your load sharing for when you're charging on it. Here is your BME680 IC, which tells you your battery percentage. Your BME680, that's your temperature, pressure, humidity right there. And here's the heart of it right now. This is the ATmega 328 chip. Instead of being on a Pro Mini, it is directly on here. And of course the associated crystal with it. Let's turn it around and look at the back. See if I can hold it back up a little bit here. And here's our micro SD, as you can see. Our reset button, since I have the ATmega directly on here, I needed a reset button just in case. The on-off switch, your micro SD charging, or micro USB charging, and your LiPo battery connector. And I also added 2 extra pins for anyone who wants to use a different external type power, or you don't have this type connector. You can use it for up to 5-volt input. And you have the 6-pin header for when you first program the ATmega 328 chip, so you can put a bootloader onto it. And then you can either continue loading your programs through that, or you can use the regular FTDI interface, the serial interface. So you can do either of them. I did them with a Surface style, so this way you can use, see if I can get this in here correctly, pogo pins. I have a very custom little jig I made up that I can press on, at least for the 6-pin ICSP connector. So that's how I program it right now. Using one of these cheapo little eBay units. Works perfectly fine. I think this costs like $6. You just got to make sure, since this is running at 3.3 volts and not 5 volts, to switch the jumper over to closer to the ribbon cable. So that's a quick update on what I've done with this. I got a few quick things to mention. This is running on a 2000 milliamp hour battery, and when I showed you the surface mount pads for the ICSP and the serial port, when I do another version of this, I don't think I'm going to do that because this jig's a pain in the butt. I'd rather just have pins that I can actually push into. I did it so I can try to save some board space, because this way, if I use a pad instead of a through hole, I can have something on the other side of it, and I didn't have to sacrifice board space. So the board's probably going to get a little bigger when I finally get around to messing with this project again. And the big reason why I'm tabling this project for quite some time is I'm still waiting for Bosch to put out this is the BME680 chip, which gives you temperature, pressure, and humidity. They also have the BME680, which adds air quality. Now, the chip's been out in pre-production or engineering samples for close to a year. I remember seeing someone on hackaday.io that was playing with a few of them, and you can find a few of them floating around, but you can't get the data sheets for it. You can't get any software for it, type of deal. It's really, most people have to sign a do not reveal notice or something like that, or one of those notices that it's all legal. And yeah, you really can't get much information. Supposedly it's coming out fourth quarter of 2016, so it's August now, September, probably another 2 or 3 months before that chip even comes out and I can start playing with it on a breakout board and see what it does. Unfortunately, also, from what I can tell, the little metal can is not the same size as the BME680. It's a little bigger, so I have to change the footprint as well. So when that chip comes out, I got to change the footprint for that. I got to go back to through hole for the programming ports. Actually, I think that's really about it. Everything else works out great, but I really want that function to have the air quality, and that would make this like the perfect product. I'm not going to be selling any of them. I'm not going to be making extras. This is just my one to hold on for the time being. What I am going to do, check down in the description. Chances are I'll probably put all the files related to this project right now as of version 1.04 on a Dropbox, because I still haven't quite figured out GitHub. It's just, sorry, I can't figure it out. So look down in the description. I have information down there. Hopefully it stays updated. If not, just shoot me a text on YouTube or an email, whichever it is on YouTube, and I'll take a look at it and see if something got messed up. So if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down below. Thanks for watching.